Hey guys, Josh here. I just made this video and then didn't like how it came out, so I'm going to do version 2. This is an update, guys. Work planner, personal planner, how they're working, what's going on with them. Just to jog your memory, this is a FranklinQuest binder. It's a compact size. If you see, it's certainly not as compact as the personal size Filofax, but they are comparable roughly comparable. I mean, you see that this is bigger. Franklin Covey pages are the same height, the same punching, but are slightly wider. If we look at them, do a side by side. I struggle finding a page I can show you guys. Aha, my grocery list. And let me find something in here. Okay, this is, let me see if I can get these side by side. So, the Filofax page and the Franklin Covey page, you can see the difference slightly. Anyway, whatever. In here I'm using the same planner pages that I used to use. Task management, time management, notes. Brilliant. I put all the tasks that I definitely want to do on a specific day here. Time management, appointments, I block out time if I need to schedule these things. I go in and out of the habit of doing that. I'm kind of out of the habit because I haven't been I've been using the week on 2 pages in the Winchester for most of the year, and that didn't allow me the space to really do that kind of time planning to get the work done. Probably the more that I use this, I'll get in the habit of doing that again, because I used to do it quite a lot. Like, when I went and sat at my desk in the morning, I'd look at this list, I'd look at my appointments, and I'd sort of find blocks of time to work on these things. So it works well. Helps kind of keep me focused and motivated. Then over here you've got a full notes page, and basically what I write on this, if the phone rings and I need to write something down, I write it down here. Any weird things that come up during the day, I write them down here. Stuff that I need to do that's not urgent, that needs to be done right now, or has to be done today, instead of writing it on here, I write it over here. And then usually towards the end of the day or the following day, I run through what's written here, kind of synthesize it, figure out what the disposition is on it, and if it's a task, I'll assign it to a future day to do. If it's just something that if it's something I need to write an email about, I write an email about it. If it's something I need to add to my Rolodex, I add it to my Rolodex, whatever. Some of it just sits there, and then it's just a note, something that I wanted to keep track of. There's this little box called a daily tracker down here. What I've been doing with this is just keeping hash marks for the questions that I get from employees. I'm just trying to start to keep some statistics. Very basic. Basically, it's like interruptions, and I'm keeping sort of things that are coming from my staff or things that are coming from library users who are contacting me directly, either in person, on the telephone, by email, and asking me questions. I just keep a hash mark on that so that I can report that out in the future, sort of start to sort of track all of this stuff that sort of makes it harder for me to get projects done, because I have all this other I love all that stuff, but I just need to be able to tell people, this is how I'm spending my time. And I think it's also useful to sort of see, like, if, maybe if they want me to do more work, they need to figure out a way to get some of this other stuff off my plate. So, anyway, what else? You'll see in the front, you see peeking out here, this is a pad. Now, I've never really been someone to use a notepad in my planner much. I always have a note section. However, on this, I've really gotten in the habit of using this. It's very handy. I can take it out. It's just tucked in this secretarial pocket here. So I can take it out. So if I'm in a meeting, I can pull this out to take notes on during the meeting. And as I need to refer to things through the meeting, I can just flip and look. So I've got sort of capture and reference. I also frequently just leave it in here, and as I'm out and about on the go, all those stray notes that people ask me random questions. If I need to write a note to leave a note to somebody, write whatever, all that just goes on here. If I need to rip it out, I rip it out. This I don't worry about, and somehow whenever something goes in the rings, I'm always a little bit more attached to it. This is really, it's kind of a scratch pad, and a lot of it gets kept, but a lot of it also gets thrown away, and it's just sort of a different function. It functions in a different way from the rest of the planner, and I like having it. So the planner itself is awesome. This is a nice design. It's an open book, so you see it just kind of falls open. That hasn't been a problem. My bag is small enough. I usually tuck it in with the spine down, so even if it does open, stuff isn't going to fall out of it. And pretty much everything in here is on the rings, so that's helpful. I've got a few of my business cards back here. I've got some bits of randomness in the pockets, not very much though. I've just not been using pockets much. I'm using this pouch page finder from FranklinQuest. I don't like it so much. There are a couple of things. First of all, I've got these weekly compass cards. I've been trying to use them. A couple of weeks I did. This one is from weeks ago. It's still in here. So clearly I'm not using it anymore. This is all obsolete. It is, on the weeks that I've actually bothered to do this, it is really nice to have kind of, this is not like a week, I don't use it as a weekly to-do list. These are kind of larger things that I need to be thinking about this week. That's how this is designed to be used. That's how I've been trying to make myself use it. So it's kind of, you write sort of the larger thing you need to keep track of, and then sort of the components of that you want to get done that week. Kind of a good idea. I'm just not really in the habit of using it. And the thing I like about the FranklinQuest system is that by itself, without really using it to its full sort of theory, it works really well. And I think that I can try parts of the system out as they're designed, and if it works for me, it's great. If it doesn't work for me, I know that even just in its basic sense of just task time and notes, that works for me. So, let's see what else. The month views are fine. Basically, as I've been using this, it's reminded me, and here's a day that I've kind of filled in pretty well. It's reminded me how much I like this planner setup. It's really sad that it doesn't fit in the Winchester, because it really works really well. But it works really well for work, and it's easily capacious enough, the amount of space to manage my personal stuff in here too. So my personal planner, guys, nothing has really changed here. It works the same way, but I'll tell you something. Running two is kind of a pain. I don't have the luxury of having a steady work schedule. Some days I work 9 to 5, some days I work 8 to 4, some days I work 11 to 7, some days I work 3 to 11. So it's very difficult for me to sort of compartmentalize that, like, my personal time is this time and my work time is that time. Day to day, that changes. And so I need to, as I'm doing, and my monthly schedule I only find out about at the tail end of the preceding month. So I just got this month's schedule. It's August 1st today. I got this month's schedule yesterday. So I really need to, if I make appointments at any time of the day, basically, I need to write them into my, even if they're personal appointments, I need to write them into my work planner, because they could suddenly become a conflict. I also find when it's like, I went to the doctor's office the other day and I needed to make an appointment in the future, And guess what? I took this one out first because I'm like, oh, this is a personal appointment. And I'm like, oh, well, I need to see if I have any work things scheduled. And so then I have to take this one out too. Guys, this is a pain. I mean, does everyone do this? Do you just carry around both of them all the time? Which is basically what I've been doing. I carry around both of these all the time. They both sit out in front of me on my desk at work and on my table at home. They tend to both be out in front of me there too. Open. And I have to refer to both of them. And then constantly, something occurs to me at work that I need to deal with after work, and I just pick up my pen and I get pen to paper on this one, and I'm like, oh, wrong planner. Put it down. Go find the other one. Write it in there. It's like, this is too complicated, guys. I'm not a naturally organized person. I have to work hard at it. And I think that what was helping me be successful in using a planner was that by putting everything in one book, it made it a lot easier for me to keep track of everything. And when I split it, it just adds a level of confusion that I don't need. And so I think that while I'm sure this works great, like, yeah, if your work schedule is consistently 8 to 4, Monday to Friday, week after week after week, I could see it might be a little bit easier if you're really good at compartmentalizing different parts of your life, at not thinking about work when you're not at work, about not thinking about personal stuff when you are at work. I'm just not that person. And so as much as I really love conceptually keeping them separate, for many reasons that I've talked about many times before, but I don't think it's going to work. I mean, I can make it work, but it's not efficient. And I think the planning system, it needs to be, what is it? David Ramsey says it needs to be trusted. Part of it being trusted is that it has to be efficient. It has to be something that you feel works very naturally, that it flows in your circumstances well. And I think that because of the way my mind works and the way that my work scheduling works and the way that my personal scheduling works and the way that I don't really naturally divide my professional self from my non-professional self very well, it's important for me to just consolidate. So, anyway, Saga. So, but I think, as I mentioned before, what I really did, using this again reminded me, is how well this Franklin Planner system works for me. I don't need all that space every day, but as I read on the Crazy Life of Jay blog, when you need it, it's great. When you need it, you need it. When you don't need it, okay, well, you didn't need it. But when on those days that you're like packed from the moment you wake up till the moment you go to sleep, you have a million things you need to remember to do, you have a million notes that you need to take, you can't beat this system. This system, as I was using it for work, let's see. So as I was using it for work and personal, it works most of the time. I lack the note space that I like to have on the day. I find it easier. When the note is written on the day page, if I lose track of that note and find it later, I see, because of everything around it, I can sort of build what the meaning is based on the context. When I use this, I have to take notes in a different part of the planner, and I end up with a page with just random notes on it. And sometimes if I write something cryptic there, it's very difficult for me to find clues to help me understand what I was trying to write. And I don't know if this happens for other people, but this happens to me all the time. And yeah, like I said, usually when it's on a day page, looking at the other stuff that I was dealing with that day, it's like, oh yeah, that's right. That's what that cryptic thing I wrote. It's like 2 words that mean nothing to me. Suddenly I'm like, oh, okay, yeah. But when it's in like just a random list of stuff, I just look at, you look at it, and you look at it. Like, what the hell was I trying to say? I don't know. So anyway, that works better for me. This planner I love dearly, and I think I really want to make it work, but when you get down to it, guys, the planner is mostly about function for me. I use it mostly for work, and I use it, but work is, both for my day job and for my little rental business that I run. I would say that accounts for probably 80-90% of my planner use. The rest of it is maybe 70-80%, and the last 20% is personal. It really needs to work for me. It needs to be big enough that I can fit everything. It needs to be, and I can make this, I'm good enough at using a planner, I can make anything work, I think, but this fits me, this just is a better fit. So, the problem you'll see is that this is full, and if I need to take about 50, 60 pages out of here and fit them in here, this is going to be overfilled. So, or almost. It might work. I could give it a try. But I think I don't want to take this pad out because, like I said, I really like having it. And that's pretty much full. So, Aaron in California, Filofax 67 here on YouTube, has kindly agreed to return to me the other FranklinQuest Verona that I had, the 1.5-inch ringed zipped burgundy one. I always think that one, I think it's kind of geeky, but these are 1.25-inch rings. I think the additional 1/4 inch of ring space will make a big difference in me being able to fit everything in. As much as this open one has worked well, I think that the zip one does add an additional edge of security. This one I've always been a little bit concerned about, especially carrying it out sort of in my hand, because it's not latched closed. That one, if it's zip closed, it's zip closed. And you don't have to worry about stuff falling out of it. I don't have a lot of worry about that, but I do end up with a fair amount of stuff kind of stuffed in. So, and lastly, one thing I had started doing, I started carrying, it's not in here right now, I took it out when we were traveling last week, but I started carrying a checkbook in here. And I found that really convenient to have that in here as well. It's usually in the bottom of my bag, and it gets crushed and everything. But that other planner on the back cover had a zip pocket that I can tuck that into. So I can really, it's I can fit everything in the rings. I can shove the checkbook there, so I've still got it with me at all times. Hopefully keep my notepad tucked inside. Pen, pencil, and I'm good to go. Everything is there. It works. So, anyway, yeah, I guess that's where we're at, guys. I'm sure I'll end up back in this at some point because I love it so much and I love to use it. But I think that the more that I try these different things out, the more that I see what really, there's a difference between what really works well and what you can make work. I can make anything work, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it works really well. And I think that even though there's obviously a huge number of people for whom function of the planner isn't the most important thing, I think for me that is one of the most important things, is how the planner works for me, how much I can fit, whether I can fit everything into it, whether the day planning pages work for me. But I think that the lesson of all this, I stuck it out for a month on 2 books. I really hoped to finish a quarter of the year in 2 books to really give myself time to get used to it. But after a month, I realized I'm not getting any better at this. I'm coping with it, but it's not coming natural. So I think it's time just go back to 1 book. I might actually take all of my instead of maintaining all my personal stuff in the same A to Z index, I might put it behind a separate tab so that if my planner is ever inquired after as part of a Freedom of Information request, I can just say anything in the personal side is not work related, and just maintain it that way. Won't have to worry about it so much. So it seems like sort of a compromise. I can sort of work around the edges of this concern of mine about the privacy of my information. So I've made videos about that if you don't know what the hell I'm talking about. When I went to separate planners, I was talking a lot about it. I work for a government agency. Everything I do at work is a public record, and it falls under Freedom of Information law. So I definitely wanted to keep particularly stuff about my personal business, out of my work planner. But I think that separation will be sufficient to allay that concern. So anyway, I've rambled for 21 minutes, so I'll shut up now. Let me know if you have any questions. I'll try to get this posted tonight. And yeah, sorry it's been so long. I've been kind of uninspired, I guess, so, and busy. Hope everyone's having a great summer or winter if you're in the southern hemisphere. Take care.